right, everybody, welcome to the show this week. I'm Gary.
This is Austin.
And we are Midwest Mikes coming at you with another show. Another fabulous guest lined up this week. We have Coach Shawn Hair, head basketball coach at Shawnee Mission East. This is his 23rd year here at Shawnee Mission East. He also is the head freshman football coach, has been for the last 4 or 5 years, and has done a great job with that program. You guys have heard us talk about, the freshman team kind of week by week and what he's done with them, and he's gearing up for basketball. So thanks, Coach, for taking some time out of your schedule this week and coming on the show.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we kind of start off every week and, kind of wrap up a little high school football. Being here for 23 years, you've seen Shawnee Mission East football go from kind of the cellar to the top of the heap here in Kansas City. One of the best programs, premier programs in the city. And so you want to just talk a little bit about that and kind of what you've seen over your 23 years here with the football program?
Yeah, it's been just a great transformation, so to speak, and a big shout-out to Coach Hoover this year. He did a great job, and it was tough loss on Friday. Both teams were, very close game, kind of really came down to the wire, and it's one of those games where we just kind of ran out of time. We felt like we got the ball back, we could drive down and score, and unfortunately we just didn't get the ball back.
Yeah, it was, it was definitely tough. And, I had talked about some of their explosive players that they have. And, that kind of, to me, that's what it came down to. They had that one really big explosive play there in the fourth quarter toward the end of the game. And, about a 75, 80-yard run. And that, end up losing by 7. Or 4. 3. Mm-hmm. That's tough. We had back and forth game all night, and but I couldn't be more proud of our kids battling that night. They never quit. They left it all out there. Just they had more horses when it came down to it, and but we'll be back. And like you said, Coach Hoover, I felt like he did a great job, first year head coach. So that was a sad way to see it end, but unfortunately, that's what happens. Only one team's going to win their last game. It wasn't us this time. But, so the teams that are left, Latham North now will play Blue Valley North. We've also talked a little bit about Blue Valley North on the show, being one of the really good teams this year. We saw them last year. Graham Mertz, talk a little bit about what you saw out of him and just what kind of player he is.
He's just a great player, great high school player, going to be a great college player. And, according to a lot of people, I think he's going to be a future pro. He's just a great pinpoint passer, puts the ball exactly where it needs to be. Receivers break, ball's there. It's a tough matchup. It's one of those things where Latham North runs the ball, Blue Valley North passes the ball. It's a contrast of styles. I would say it'll be a high-scoring, affair. Blue Valley North in the playoffs, I think, is averaging, probably 50-plus points. They had 49 on Gardner, and they had to score over 50 the couple games before that, I think.
They did.
So, Latham North, like you said, every time one of those backs touches it, they can take it to the house. So it's a big explosive offensive game, I think, and it's going to be good weather. I wish we had a little bit of nice weather when we were playing last Friday. Yeah. I think that would have helped us as well.
Yeah, it was a little cold. Latham North, I kind of did the math this week. Their average was 42 points a game. We held them to 24 the other night. So, don't want to take a moral victory, but feel good about that. And, we gave up 28 the first time we played them. So we're really one of the only teams, other than Columbine, that they played out of our region to even hold them under 30 points. But, 24 just, is enough for them and not enough for us. 24-21 on Friday.
Yeah.
So let's move into a little bit. High school basketball is gearing up. You're starting your season, had tryouts these last couple days. Who are some of your returning guys that you're looking for something big out of?
Well, we've got a lot of guys that played football as well, so a lot of great players. Andy Maddox, our quarterback, he's coming back. He'll be a big-time player for us. Ben Woods, He played football, played defense for us. He'll be a great player for us. Tony, our running back, he'll be another great player for us. Some of those good sophomores that played JV and some varsity, they'll be great players for us. And, then Noah Korbaum returns. If we can get Isaac McDonald healthy, that'll be a big help for us. Got a new kid from Aquinas, Declan Conley. He's a great kid, great player. Jack Gilman's another senior for us. So, we're very hopeful that we'll get a lot out of these guys, and they'll play hard. Hopefully we'll be able to play a little bit more up-tempo. And, I'm really looking forward to the season. They're a great group of young men. They work their tails off every day in practice, and so they're fun to coach.
Yeah. Part of the catch-22 when you have a great football season like we did and get into the playoffs, those guys really went right into it. Got done Friday night, had to be here for practice on Monday, no break. It's a good thing that a good problem you want to have, but, unfortunately for those kids, can you see the effects of the longer football season on those guys?
For sure. What we did is we gave all the guys that we knew, that played, we gave them the option of not practice Monday or Tuesday. We tried to give them at least 2 days off to be a kid. It's hard. I think it's hard. There's so many demands, and, in Kansas there's so little time before you play your first game, both in football and basketball. You just don't feel like you have enough time to prepare. And then you throw in Thanksgiving break in there. And so, it's hard to be as prepared as you want to be for your first game. So I think, the best coaches that I've seen have been able to say, okay, it's not where you are in December, it's where you are in March. Just like in football, it's not where you are in August, it's where you are in November. And we have to think about it as a process. We know those football guys are going to be rusty, and that's fine. They're giving us great effort, and they're giving us everything they got. And, it's just going to take a little time. And I think that's the key to looking at things. You can't look at things right now. You got to look at things, 3-4 months from now.
Yeah. And I know kind of watching some of your teams over the last few years, it seems like they always do start a little slower, and, you ease them into it. And it always seems like you're playing your best there, around the end of February, early March, coming into that little playoff run. And, you've been on the doorstep getting to state the last couple years. So, we'll look for a good run out of you guys this year. And, I know that you and your coaching staff will put everything you can into it to put the kids in the best position.
Well, we appreciate that. They're great kids. We got great coaching staff, just like a football staff. They're great guys who work really hard. Coach Ottmeyer and Coach Hare do a great job. My brother's also on our staff. And, Coach Kramer, Coach Gannon, who also helps in football as our freshman coach. And, it's great to have guys that coach multiple sports as well. We're very fortunate in that, and that's kind of what makes Shawnee Mission East, kind of a great school. It's not just a basketball coach, or it's just a football coach, or just all these guys see all these guys in different sports, and they really care about them both on and off the field, on and off the court, and I think that's important.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've noticed here that's different from other places I've been. Is seems like the head coaches of different sports work very well together. Obviously Coach Hoover this year coming in, was kind of the new guy on the block, but you had been working well with Coach Delaney previously, with those crossover guys, and then you and Coach Gordon in the spring, and Coach Gordon with Coach Delaney in the fall. Just you guys work well together, knowing that we have limited athletes here, so they need to be put in the best position for them.
Yeah, I think it's important. You're going to share some athletes, and I think we're all about wanting kids to play multiple sports. Well, if you play multiple sports, you got to still find a time to, let them be a young man and let them have some time kind of to themselves. You can't just grind them so much that, now they end up, a season, whatever that season is, football, and they're like hating basketball, or they finish basketball and they hate baseball, or they finish baseball and they're not looking forward to football. Like, hopefully it's, every coach working together in the fact that, hey, I'm really looking forward to the next season. I'm really looking forward to the next season. I'm excited about that. And I think when you have a good cohesive group of head coaches that work together. I think that's a big, big sell to your school. It's a big sell to the community. There's none of this. You got to be a football only guy. You got to be a basketball only guy. You got to be a baseball only guy. Because I think if you sell that, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. I think you're not treating the kids the right way. It puts a kid in a bad spot.
Yeah, in my experience, coaching too, it just when you make a kid really kind of choose one sport, especially when he's younger, freshman or sophomore, you don't know exactly how his body's going to develop or things like that, or what sport he's going to turn out really loving. Maybe he'll love something more than the other, and it's different when a kid chooses to go down that path themselves versus their coach breathing down their neck all the time. Nah, I need you at all this basketball stuff, miss that football, I don't want you getting hurt during football season so that's something you guys all do a great job of, is making sure whatever sport is in season is the most important sport at that moment.
Sure.
For those guys.
I think what every coach here at Shawnee Mission East is looking for is they want those kids to compete, and they really like seeing great competitors, and I think that's something that's just a carryover. You got great competitors in football. You got great competitors in basketball. You got great competitors in baseball, wrestling. Whatever sport it is, I think when you got the same head coaches preaching the same message, I think it makes it easier on the kid, makes everybody get along better. And, I'm coaching football, so obviously I'm cheering for football, but I'm not a baseball coach, but I'm cheering like heck for baseball. I want baseball to win. I want wrestling,
Yeah.
I want golf, tennis, whatever. I want Shawnee Mission East to win, and that's important.
Yeah, and I think every coach here feels the same way. Everybody, we want to see the other sports do well too, and all those things.
I'd say that kind of winning mentality is kind of contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that rolling, it just the momentum carries over to the other sports. So it starts feeling like a winning school. And so it's like expectations go up and everything like that. So it's like it's just setting the bar high all around. So which isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all. We'll kind of move out of talking high school sports and talk a little bit of college football here. The new rankings came out. I think they pretty much stayed the same from last week.
Yeah,
1 through 4, top 10 remain the same. Still got Alabama up there. I think Alabama's kind of head and shoulders better than everybody right now. Would you anything to say there?
I would totally agree. They are unbelievable. Alabama, I think a lot of people were like, could they beat an NFL team? I don't think they could beat an NFL team, but, they would compete. That's for sure. They would compete. And, Saban is a master. He's a great football coach. He gets those kids to play hard. And, some of the best competition, they go to LSU. They just destroyed LSU.
Yeah.
Destroyed them. And that's hard to do in the SEC. It's hard to go on the road and, come out with a win, let alone, it was
dominating.
It was dominating.
From start to finish, I actually got to watch a lot of that game last weekend. There was just, and no question, did you think oh man, here comes LSU with a chance, I felt like the whole time it was just Bama was holding them at arm's length, and we're just going to keep them there and keep our foot on their throat.
Bama got to kind of play like a more of a grindy game because their defense stepped up big, and it looked like LSU had no idea what to do with that pass rush, no clue. Mm-hmm. Another thing about Alabama is another thing that they're really a master at is their schedule. So they do have Auburn left to play, right? But they got. They play Citadel this week.
Yeah.
So it's so the way they schedule it is they go through their SEC deal, they go take it easy, and then they got this big game coming up. So I was looking through some of the games this week. Is there a big one that you guys know of? No.
No, I think this weekend is kind of they had a bunch of good games last weekend, and then next weekend, the last weekend, have a bunch of rivalry games, but I think this weekend is kind of where they don't have as many.
I would say, what do you think the line is on Oklahoma, Kansas?
Oh, probably 20 or more.
I bet it's like 30.
I don't think Kansas got a chance.
No, they don't.
They're not very good at football. But, we've talked about that before, on the show. And, but anyway, Clemson and Notre Dame –